Hello there, dear viewers, and welcome to attaQ. My name is Jakob. I'm your host, and you're watching a attaQ episode. And in this episode, I want to highlight 4 completely free AUv3 delay effects. Now, some of these apps feel like kind of a stretch calling them delays because they sound like something else, but then again, they are delay apps. And there is one of these effects that is extremely powerful. It really sticks out and outshines the other ones because it can do so much. It's kind of hard to believe that it's for free. But I'll be talking about that one last, so keep watching. Thank you so much for answering my polls. I started giggling like a little child out of pure joy when I saw the results of one of the latest polls. And I'm surprised that only 50% of you chose this option here. Alright, so the first app we're gonna have a look at is Stereo Lag Time by Manny Consulting Limited Company. They're also known as Blue Mango. I think you pronounce it that way, even though they spell it Blue Mango. Now, this app is not something you would normally expect if you load up a delay effect. It's a haQ effect to produce kind of a stereo feeling. And that's all it does, as straightforward as it can get. Now, the next effect we're going to have a look at is DLYM by Imaginando LDA. Now, this one feels like a stretch calling it a delay effect because it sounds more like a chorus, flanger, or phaser when you start modulating stuff in here. And right now, I've got it set up to sound as much as it can sound as a delay, basically. So I'll put the time up to the full second that you have, the feedback almost all the way up. I've turned down the rate and depth of the modulation. I've increased the spread to the maximum, tweaked the crossover to my taste, and then I switched it over from dim to ana, which stands for analog, to get a more analog sound. And so without effect, it sounds like this. And with effect, it sounds like this. Yeah, it even sounds more like a reverb than a delay, and that's just the way that this thing is built. It is a delay effect, but as soon as you start modulating stuff, you can get a chorus effect out of it. So it's kind of a cross between a chorus, phaser, flanger, reverb, short delay kind of deal. And it is completely free. Now, the next delay we're going to look at is Nembrini's analog rec delay, and it's a mono delay. However, it does have an offset knob. So it offsets the delay time on one of the channels. So if I pull this down, it sounds like a mono delay, and if I pull it up... Now, analog rack reverb is as straightforward as it can get. It's got an input knob, an output knob, it's got the time knob, of course, and the time can be synced to the tempo of the host. Then you got the feedback and the mix. And this one kind of sounds like an old school analog delay. And it is completely free. Alright, so we get to the last plugin, and this is the one that blows my mind. It's called ChowMatrix. It's made by ChowDSP, or as he's called on the App Store, Jatin Chowdhury. Well, this is one of his apps. It's completely free. It's also open source, and you can find the code over at GitHub if you want to get in on it. So ChowMatrix is kind of like having a tap delay, but a much weirder tap delay, and all of it can be modulated, and it's insane. It will take you a long time to do stuff in here, but once you've done it and you got it saved, you've got some pretty interesting delays. So what I want you to look at here is, okay, it's kind of hard because they're jumping around, but you can see that these nodes are marked in colors, but also numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we go to the details view, we can see these colors and these numbers right here. And here you can see all of the settings that you can do. So each node can be set in delay time. You can set the panning for them, the feedback for each individual node. You can set the gain. You've got a low pass filter and a high pass filter. You can also set the pitch, which I've done for 2 of these nodes, which is why you're getting that pitched sound in the delay. You also have diffusion, you got distortion, you got a reverse setting. And if we look here on the side, we can see this line here because there's actually more. And here is where you set the frequency for the modulation that you can then use for either the delay modulation or pan modulation. And that's a lot of stuff that you can do with each node, and which is why I said it takes time setting up delays in here. Now, if we go back to the ChowMatrix view, there is one more setting in here that makes this really interesting, and that is you've got an insanity mode, and you can pull this up by sliding this thing here. And once you start doing that, the nodes will start shifting in all kinds of ways, and it will shift up and down. As you can see, it's no longer holding its shape. It doesn't look like it did before. It's switching positions. Even if we pull this back now, they won't get back to where they were. This is a great way of finding new positions for your nodes or for your patch or your algorithm that you're building, or experimenting, or just want to introduce some very wonky, weird randomness into your patch. Now, there's even more stuff in here, like the fact that you can switch out the different modes inside this thing. And if you check the modes, we can see that we got glitch, rough, smooth, ultra smooth. Now, I tried this out, and when I choose the analog one, for instance, then the delay sounds more analog-ish. You choose the lo-fi, which is also another favorite of mine. It sounds lo-fi. And the way that you actually add nodes in here is by double tapping. And if you've got a node selected and double tap like this, then it will create another node stretching from that first node. But if you deselect the nodes and you double tap, it's just gonna create a completely new node. Same if we do it over here, it's gonna create one there. If I select this one, double tap, come on, select that, double tap, it's gonna create a new one and 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 a new one. And I think I read in the manual that you could go up to 50 nodes. So that's a whole lot of delay you've got there. And you paid nothing for it. I'm telling you, ChowMatrix is the most powerful free delay plugin on iOS that you could ever get a hold of. And I just can't get over it that it's free, completely free. And if you get this app and you end up using it a lot, then remember that ChowDSP's apps have this tip jar where you can send a tip. Now, I do want to say that the app is not perfect. I found some bugs in there and I will report them all to Jatin. Now, before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button because it's so helpful. And if you don't want to see me succeed here on YouTube, press the thumbs down. It's not going to help you in trying to bring me down on YouTube. As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go figure all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.